please help me welcome Lena Scullard, a top-rated keynote speaker, facilitator, and consultant known for helping professionals build emotional intelligence and take confident ownership of their mindset and choices. With more than 20 years in hospitality and leadership and over a decade in corporate training, Lena has dedicated her career to empowering people and teams to unlock resilience, purpose, and meaningful results. She's known for her engaging stories, relatable insights, and interactive style that encourages audiences to embrace personal accountability and act with intention, especially in moments of stress or emotion. Grounded in her Own Your Power to Choose philosophy, Lena challenges individuals to shift their mindset, strengthen relationships, and drive positive change. Her expertise comes from years of performance consulting and facilitation, certifications with Franklin Covey programs, including the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and her work with world-class development tools like DISC and the Pacific Institute. And with degrees in theater and English literature, along with more than 30 years of navigating chronic illness, Lena brings authenticity, empathy, and a deep understanding of what it takes to thrive through challenge. Please join me in welcoming the incredible Lena Scullard!
Thank you, Tom. Magical. Magical. Ooh, that was unpleasant, wasn't it? I just watched like a ripple of tension cascade through this room, like shoulders got tight. Some of you felt that vein in your neck throb a little, and I think there were a few of you that were ready to get under the table. And before I go any further, I just want to say that is kind of how feedback is, isn't it? It's a little bit unpleasant, a little bit uncomfortable. I need to let you know that that moment of pain that you all just went through, that's on me. Can we give a round of applause to our wonderful AV team back there? They would never do that to you. They would never let that happen. But I would do that to you. I want to talk a little bit about feedback today, and Tom did a really great job of showing some bullet points about building culture. But what I've realized is that one of the most important things when it comes to leadership and building culture, and one of the most overlooked components, is that idea of trust and how we create psychological safety. I have, for over a decade, trained on countless off-the-shelf leadership programs. And we do a really, really good job of teaching leaders how to give effective feedback. But we never, ever once in any of those programs teach leaders how to receive effective feedback. We just assume that everybody just knows how to accept feedback. And it's just simply not true. But if you want to create a culture where people feel psychologically safe, where they feel like it's okay to speak up, where it's okay to point out their concerns, the red flags, where it's okay to share their ideas, then we have to create a culture where feedback is the norm. And the place where we need to start to do that as leaders is with ourselves and how we receive it. After all, if we don't learn how to role model receiving feedback with grace effectively, then how can we expect any of our team members to receive our feedback effectively and with grace? So that's what I want to focus on during my time with you today. I have pulled this out of my Level Up Leadership program, where I teach servant leadership through the lens of Maslow's hierarchy. And we all know at the very bottom of that hierarchy of human motivation and human needs is that level of psychological safety. So I want to talk with you about how we, as leaders and as professionals, can better receive feedback. And let me tell you, I have received some doozies of feedback in my life. How many of you out there have ever done a 360-degree survey with your team, where you send out an anonymous survey and ask your team members to let you know what they think of you? Oh, let me tell you, when a survey like that is anonymous, they tell you the truth. One of the most concerning pieces of feedback I ever remember getting came from a 360-degree survey. And they said, it's not always about Lena and what Lena wants. Excuse me? What do you think my initial reaction to that piece of feedback was? That same ripple of tension that went through this room when we heard the microphone feedback, that was my response, right? Because when critical feedback comes our way, the very first thing that gets in the way is our pesky little thing called our ego. Anytime we are experiencing something that we should improve on, or that may be damaging our relationships or our reputation, our ego creeps in and emotions run high and we stop thinking logically. And the very first thing I wanted to do when I got that piece of feedback was find out who said it. But I stopped myself. And I remembered what I had learned through many, many years of receiving feedback while I was in hospitality. And I remembered that one of the reasons my leaders told me I was successful as a professional, and one of the reasons that I was promoted into leadership, is because I was coachable. And when we're coachable, it means that we're willing to take in feedback, no matter how hard or how harsh, and we're able to find opportunities to grow from it. So what I want to share with you is my 5-step process that I teach people on how to better receive feedback, especially when it's the hard kind, the constructive kind. And the very first thing that we have to learn to be able to do is listen non-defensively. The listening, that's kind of the easy part. The non-defensively, that's the hard part. Because again, our ego steps in and those emotions run high and we start to feel defensive. Listening non-defensively means we don't allow our ego to start to pass judgment. We don't start formulating our response before the other person is even finished talking. And we learn to manage those emotions. That is, after all, the heart of emotional intelligence, which is really what I teach. And so I want to just give you one tool, one grounding tool. It is my favorite of all of the methods that I've found on how to manage our emotions when emotions run high. And so I want you all to just picture for a moment that feedback coming at you, that hard, constructive, oftentimes harsh, negative feedback. And I want you to imagine your emotions welling up like a lightning storm across the sky, because that's what we feel, right? We feel that tension and that crack of emotion comes through our body, and our shoulders tighten, and the vein in our throat threatens to pop. And oftentimes we want to run or we want to hide. But here's what I want you to remember about that energy. We know that energy is neither created or destroyed. It is only transferred. And you have the power to choose what you want to do with that negative energy. And so I want you to just hold it in your fists, pull it into you in your fists. And now you have a couple of options. Number one, if you're a fighter, you can shoot it back out at the person. How many of you where are my fighters in the room? Okay. That's never a good idea, right? Let's not slam them back. That does very little for our relationships and our reputation as professionals. Where are my flighters in the room? We have fight or flight. Where are my flighters? Okay, your instinct is probably to pull that energy in and just carry it around with you. The rest of the day, the rest of the week, you let it eat at you, you let it ruin your day. We're not going to do that either. We're going to take that negative energy, we're going to pull it in, and when we release our fists, we're going to shoot it out through the ground. Will you all do that with me? Ball your fists up, feel the energy, pull it into your body, and then release it into the ground. That's how we switch our brain from that emotional side to then the logical side. Once we do that, we can take a pause and we can reflect before we respond to that person who's giving us the negative feedback. We just take a moment to pause and to ask ourselves, how am I being reactive? And what do I actually want the outcome of this conversation to be? And if psychological and safety and trust is the goal, then we're going to respond differently than our emotions tell us to. We're going to respond intentionally. The next step is to simply be curious and ask clarifying questions. Do you need more information? Do you need some examples? Step 4, and maybe the hardest step, is expressing gratitude, saying thank you. And that's really hard, especially if the person giving the feedback is not good at it and it's harsh and they're making it sound personal. But there's something incredibly important in expressing gratitude. You're letting them know that not only do you appreciate their courage in approaching you, but that it's safe for them to do it again in the future. And that is maybe the biggest key to accepting feedback with grace. And then the final step is to simply let them know what you're going to do. What action are you going to take? Are you going to think about it? Are you going to work on something? Is it something you want to check back with them on a later date to see how you've been doing? Those are my 5 steps to learning how to accept feedback. And now we're gonna get a chance to practice a little bit, because I can tell you guys, I'm not a magician. I have not climbed Mount Everest or run a marathon. I have never made millions of dollars flipping real estate from my phone. I have never delivered a presidential address, but I have delivered pizza. What I am is a real person with a passion for learning psychology and how we actually learn to grow skills and be better humans. And one of the key ways that we have to learn this is through practice. So we're gonna start with a demonstration. Can I get a volunteer that would be willing to come up on stage? You don't have to receive the feedback. You get to give me a little piece of somewhat harsh feedback. So do I have one person willing to come up and just help me demonstrate what this looks like? One person. You guys, don't leave me hanging. Hey, give him a round of applause. All right, this is your gift for coming up and helping me out. And I'm gonna give you this microphone. And your name is?
Tom.
Another Tom. Give Tom a round of applause. All right, Tom, that is your feedback that you have for me. Let me have it.
Lena, you're very enthusiastic, but sometimes your energy can feel overwhelming to quieter teammates.
It's like people don't even know how to have fun anymore. What is wrong with them? That's not, just because they want to like hide in the corner does not mean that I'm not doing a very good job here, am I? How did my response make you feel?
Well, you're being defensive, and I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to give you any feedback again.
Yes, and that's what happens, right? We try to give somebody feedback, and it takes a lot of courage and bravery, and they let that ego step in and get defensive, and it just completely goes out the window. All right, can I have another chance? Can I have another chance? Okay, give it to me again.
Oh, Lena, you're very enthusiastic, but sometimes your energy can feel overwhelming to quieter teammates.
Oh, wow. I did not realize that. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'm gonna work on that.
Awesome.
Did you feel better?
I did.
Give him a round of applause. Thank you so much. So in a classroom setting or in a different type of workshop setting, we would really dive into all 5 of these steps. But what I want to leave you with today is just that very simple response. If you can train your brain to say these words when someone gives you feedback, you will come out of it building trust and keeping a connection and letting that person know that you are safe to share feedback with. And that phrase is, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Thank you for letting me know. I'll work on that." Can we repeat this together? "Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Thank you for telling me. I'll work on that." What do you think? Simple enough? All right, because you're going to get a chance to practice. Now I want you to remember this phrase, and you're going to get together with a partner. I want everybody out of your chairs. You're going to pair up. One person is going to face the screens. The other person is going to face the back wall. Go ahead, pair up. Take your position. One person face the screens. One person face the back wall. If you are facing the back wall, you are responding to the feedback. "Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Thank you for telling me. I'll work on that," okay? If you're facing the screen, I'm gonna tell you what feedback you're gonna give the person. I will let you have fun with it. You can say this in whatever tone of harshness you want to, if you want to test your partner. We're gonna do one practice and then we're gonna switch. Are you ready? Here you go. Okay. On the count of 3, change positions. 1, 2, 3. Roles reversed. Here is your set of feedback. All right, once you have practiced delivering your response to feedback, go ahead, everybody have a seat again. Thank you for indulging me in that brief practice. Here's the thing about speaking those words, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Thank you for telling me. I'll work on it." Here's the secret. You don't even have to mean it when those words come out of your mouth. What those words do is they create a response that builds trust and psychological safety and then allows you to go reflect on that feedback in whatever way you need to. So as long as you can keep those negative and defensive emotions at bay, and you can say, "Oh, wow, I didn't realize that. Thank you for telling me. I'll work on it." Then you get to walk away. That person feels good about the feedback they offered. They feel confident in your leadership ability. And you get to then take a moment to process the feedback that they shared. And maybe there's parts of that feedback that just don't make sense. Let it go. But one of the things that I found is even in the most harshest feedback, it's not always about Lena and what Lena wants. There are nuggets of gold. There are nuggets of growth opportunity if we're willing to just suspend our pride and our ego long enough to realize that my voice is maybe a little bit too dominant. in some staff meetings and on some projects. And maybe, as a professional, I could learn to count to 10 and take a step back and go with somebody else's idea every now and then and get excited about somebody else's idea now and then. That's just one example from my career of getting feedback that stings a little bit when you first get it, and then learning to really dig in and ask yourself, what can I do with this to be a better version of myself for the rest of my team? I'm Lena Scullard, and I speak and I train on a variety of emotional intelligence topics. I love helping professionals expand their awareness so that they can really learn how to be a little bit more resilient, go throughout their day with a little bit more purpose, be more clear in how they interact with the other humans in their lives, and then, of course, how to be stronger people leaders for their team, and that's whether they have a title or not. I just want to thank you all so much for being here. I think that this is going to be an amazing day. Thank you for taking a little bit of time to practice receiving feedback with me, and I would love to talk to you more about any of my programs and partner with any of you in the future. Thank you so much.